Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Jack, and today I have a mostly solid oak coffee table that I got from a garage sale and completely refinished, and also made my own new top for it. For each furniture piece I refinish, I give it a name to remember it for the purpose of keeping a financial log of all my projects. This table I decided to call the Creative Coffee Table for how creative I had to get with figuring out what to do about the top. The top was made of veneer strips and were peeling and splitting off pretty good. The first thing I tried to do was fix and replace the pieces that were coming off to try and preserve the rest of it. So I bought a 1/2 inch by 2 inch by 4 foot piece of red oak, and I used a Sony crafter and chisel to finish cleaning out the pieces that had split off, and my plan was to rip the red oak strip that I bought into thin enough pieces to try and match the ones that I cut out of the table, which I knew was going to be complicated, but I realized very quickly just how complicated it was going to be. So I threw around a few more ideas, browsed Amazon for their collection of veneers and thin strips of wood, and I knew that my boss had a giant collection of thin sheets of wood in his barn. So I went and checked out his selection, and I found a sheet of oak cabinet quality wood that would work perfect for it, and I ended up buying that from him and using it for the top. My plan at the time was to keep it the same color dark walnut that it was and stain the rest of the table black, and I thought that would look pretty cool, a black table with a walnut looking top. And so I took a chisel and scraped all the rest of the strips of veneer off the top, which left me with maybe a 1/16 inch thick inset in the top where the veneer was. And the sheet of cabinet wood that I bought was about a 1/4 inch thick, and so I had to come up with the transition from the trim around the sheet to the top of the sheet itself. So I ended up mitering all 4 sides of the sheet at 45 degrees, and I thought that would look pretty nice. And after I finished chiseling all the veneer off the top and mitering the edges of that sheet, I actually took about a 4-month-long break from working on the table to do a bunch of charcuterie projects and other miscellaneous things, and the unfinished tabletop made a great working surface for the charcuterie boards. That was also around the time when I got restricted from doing any more heavy sanding in the shop, as it created a lot of dust around my dad's stuff and he didn't appreciate it. So I had to wait until the weather warmed up enough to where I could sand outside. So now enjoy a montage of me sanding down the entire table with 80 grit sandpaper. When I got done sanding everything, I filled in the holes on the top where I got a little too aggressive with the Sony Crafter with some wood filler. I wanted to stain the table before I put the new top on because I wanted to make sure whatever stain I ended up using on the table would match nicely with the dark walnut top. I know I said the original plan was to stain the table black, but I figured I would start with a light stain and go darker and darker until I was happy with something, because if I stained the whole thing black and realized I didn't like it, it would be a nightmare to sand it all back off and start from scratch. I settled with a dark honey stain that I thought would map to the color of the top to where it would all be one consistent color. But of course I realized how much less transparent the top was compared to the rest of the table, and so I ended up sanding down the top and restaining it with the dark honey stain so everything matched exactly. When I was happy how everything looked, it was finally time to attach the new top. I put glue down on the exposed top and spread it out evenly. Then I lined up the new top to try and get the same reveal on all of the edges. I used a pin nailer to secure the top and then weighted everything down until the glue cured. I gave the entire table 2 coats of warm satin polyurethane and sanded in between coats with 400 grit sandpaper. I gave it one final wipe down and it was ready to be listed on Facebook. I was surprised with how well the sheeted cabinet wood ended up flowing with the rest of the table. To me, it didn't just look like a cheap fix, but it looked like the proper thing to do. I didn't want to re-veneer it. I wanted it to look and feel like effort was put into it, and I'm happy I did what I did. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.